Everyone trusted Mr. Kofi. He was the best house agent in the city. Well-dressed. Smooth-talking. Always smiling like he knew secrets no one else did. "If I sell it, it's clean," he'd say, tapping his briefcase. "No problems. No history." And people believed him. Young couples bought their first homes. Investors bought rental properties. Families moved in with hope. Then they started leaving. One house stood empty after just 2 weeks. Another family fled in the middle of the night. A tenant broke his lease without asking for his deposit back. People whispered, "There's something wrong with those houses. I hear footsteps at night. My child talks to someone who isn't there." Mr. Kofi laughed it off. "Ghost stories," he said. "Poor people excuses." But the pattern didn't stop. Every house Mr. Kofi sold cheaply. Every house he rushed people into buying. No one stayed longer than a month. One woman came back shaking. "You didn't tell me someone died there," she cried. Mr. Kofi smiled politely. "People die everywhere," he replied. "You're still alive, aren't you?" That night, Mr. Kofi sat alone in his office, counting money. Then he heard it. A knock. Not on the door. From inside one of the empty houses he'd sold. Slow. Heavy. Deliberate. He laughed nervously and locked up. But what Mr. Kofi didn't know was this. The houses weren't haunted because of the dead. They were haunted because of what he hid. And the spirits were done being sold. The next morning, Mr. Kofi's phone wouldn't stop ringing. Not buyers. Not investors. Former clients. A man said his wife woke up screaming every night. A single mother swore her child spoke to a woman who stood in the corner and cried. An elderly tenant returned the keys without asking for his money back, his hands shaking. All lies, Mr. Kofi told himself. Fear spreads faster than truth. But then a letter arrived. No stamp. No return address. Just 3 words written in red ink. "You knew." Mr. Kofi laughed it off, crumpled the paper, and tossed it in the bin. He had paperwork. He had signatures. He had money. That evening, a junior agent confronted him. "Sir," the young man said carefully, "these houses, the records don't match. Some files are missing. Death reports. Police notes." Mr. Kofi's smile tightened. "Mind your job," he snapped. "Do you want commission or stories?" The young man left, uneasy. That night, Mr. Kofi went home late. His luxury apartment felt unusually cold. As he poured himself a drink, he heard footsteps in the hallway. Slow. Dragging. "This is ridiculous," he muttered. Then the lights flickered. In the reflection of the glass window, he saw it. Not a ghost. A house key, hanging in the air behind him. The exact type he used for properties that sold too fast. It dropped to the floor. Clink. Mr. Kofi's breath caught. Because buried beneath every sale was a truth he had locked away. And the houses were ready to unlock it themselves. Mr. Kofi didn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw doors opening by themselves. Corridors stretching too long. Keys multiplying in his hands until they cut into his skin. At 2:17 a.m., his phone buzzed. Unknown number. A message appeared. "Come and see." Before he could reply, another message followed, an address. His stomach tightened. It was one of the properties. The cheapest one. The fastest sale. The one where the buyer vanished after 11 days. "Stupid," he muttered, grabbing his keys. "Someone's playing games." The house stood dark when he arrived. No lights. No neighbors awake. The gate creaked open on its own. "That's enough," he called out, forcing a laugh. Inside, the air smelled damp, like old walls holding secrets. His footsteps echoed too loudly. Then he heard voices. Not shouting. Not screaming. Whispering. From every room. You sold us. You knew. You took the money. Mr. Kofi backed toward the door, heart pounding. I didn't kill anyone, he shouted. I just sold houses. The whispers grew louder. A door slammed upstairs. Against his will, his feet moved. Step by step. The hallway lights flickered on, revealing framed photos on the wall, photos that hadn't been there before. Families. Couples. Children. Each photo had a date beneath it. Dates of deaths. Dates of accidents. Dates he had removed from files. His knees buckled. At the end of the hall, a final door opened slowly. Inside was a desk. On it lay a thick folder. And on the cover, written in bold red letters, was his name. Kofi Mensah, full disclosure. The door slammed shut behind him. And for the first time, the agent who sold ghosts realized he was about to meet. Every deal he thought was finished. Mr. Kofi reached for the door handle. It wouldn't move. The folder on the desk began to open by itself, pages flipping slowly, deliberately, like someone making sure he read every word. Each page was a contract. His contracts. But the ink was no longer black. It was red. One by one, the details changed before his eyes. Property address. Buyer name. Commission earned. And beneath each sale, a new line appeared. Cause of death. A woman who fell down the stairs, after reporting strange noises. A man who drowned in his own bathtub, after refusing to leave. A child who never woke up, after telling his mother someone watched him sleep. Mr. Kofi screamed and slammed the folder shut. This isn't my fault, he shouted. I didn't push them. I didn't poison them. The lights went out. In the darkness, footsteps surrounded him. Not rushing. Not threatening. Waiting. A voice spoke, calm, heavy, everywhere. You sold silence as safety. You sold forgetting as comfort. You sold death as investment. The lights snapped back on. The room was full. Men. Women. Children. Not transparent. Not floating. They looked normal. That terrified him more than ghosts ever could. One woman stepped forward, holding a set of keys. You told us nothing happened here, she said softly. So we stayed. A child looked up at him and asked quietly. Why didn't you warn my mother? Mr. Kofi fell to his knees, hands shaking. I just needed the money, he whispered. Everyone does it. The room went silent. Then the voice returned. Then you will pay. The way you charged others. The contracts on the desk burst into flame. And Mr. Kofi felt something burn, not his skin, but his name. Mr. Kofi woke up on the floor of the house, gasping for air. Morning light spilled through the windows like nothing had happened. No ghosts. No voices. No burning contracts. Just silence. For a moment, he thought it was a dream. Then he tried to stand. Pain shot through his chest, not sharp, but heavy, like a weight pressing down from the inside. He stumbled outside and checked his phone. 9:43 a.m. Dozens of missed calls. From his office. From clients. From numbers he didn't recognize. When he opened his email, his hands started shaking. Subject, property fraud investigation. Subject, undisclosed death records. Subject, lawsuit, wrongful sale. Files had surfaced overnight. Police reports. Hospital records. Old complaints he had paid to bury. Someone had leaked everything. By noon, his office was sealed. By evening, the news vans arrived. A reporter spoke directly into the camera. Authorities are investigating a real estate agent accused of knowingly selling properties linked to multiple unexplained deaths. Mr. Kofi watched from his car, sweat running down his spine. That night, when he returned to his apartment, something else was waiting. An envelope on his table. Inside was a single sheet of paper. No stamp. No signature. Just one sentence. You sold houses to the living. Now you belong to the houses. The lights went out. And somewhere far away, a door unlocked itself. Mr. Kofi didn't run. He couldn't. Every property he'd ever sold began to find him. That's what the papers said later. That he was seen wandering at night, standing in front of houses he no longer owned, ringing doorbells, whispering apologies to locked gates. Buyers reported it first. A man stands outside at exactly 2:17 a.m. He keeps holding keys that don't fit our doors. He cries and says, "I should have told you." Police tried to question him. But Mr. Kofi couldn't explain why his office keys now opened no doors, while house keys he'd thrown away years ago kept appearing in his pockets. His health collapsed quickly. Doctors said stress, insomnia, delusions. But Mr. Kofi knew the truth. Every night, he dreamed of corridors. Not one house, many. Each door carried an address. Each address carried a name. And every time he opened one, he heard the same words. You sold me silence. The trial came fast. Former clients testified. Documents resurfaced. His junior agent spoke, finally. Mr. Kofi sat in court, thinner, shaking, eyes hollow. When the judge asked if he had anything to say, he stood slowly. I thought houses were just walls, he said hoarsely. I didn't know they could remember. The court found him guilty. Fraud. Negligence. Criminal concealment. But the sentence didn't scare him. Because he knew something worse had already begun. That night, in his cell, the lights flickered. A familiar sound echoed down the corridor. Clink. A house key slid across the floor and stopped at his feet. And Mr. Kofi finally understood. The houses were not finished with him yet. Prison was supposed to be quiet. But for Mr. Kofi, it never was. Every night at exactly 2:17 a.m., the same sound echoed through his cell. A door unlocking. Not the iron bars. Not the corridor gate. Something closer. Something imagined, and yet too real to ignore. He would sit up on his thin mattress, heart racing, as the walls seemed to stretch just slightly, like hallways pretending to be concrete. The smell changed too. Damp. Old. Like houses that had been closed for too long. Other inmates noticed. He talks to corners, one man whispered. He keeps asking for forgiveness in his sleep. Kofi stopped eating. Stopped speaking. He spent hours staring at his hands, turning them over as if expecting keys to appear again. One afternoon, a prison counselor sat across from him. Why houses? She asked gently. Why not people? Kofi's voice cracked for the first time. Because people forget, he whispered. But houses remember everything. That night, the walls finally gave in. The cell door didn't open. Instead, the floor creaked. A doorway appeared where the toilet had been. No light behind it. No shadow. Just an address carved into the frame. An address he recognized. The first house he ever sold without disclosure. Kofi screamed for help. The guards heard nothing. From inside the doorway, a voice spoke, not angry, not cruel. Patient. You showed us how easy it was to move on, the voice said. Now it's your turn. The doorway widened. And for the first time since his arrest, Mr. Kofi stood up willingly. Because running had ended. And the houses were ready to take him home. In the morning, Mr. Kofi's cell was empty. No broken bars. No blood. No signs of struggle. Just a single house key on the floor. The guards blamed a transfer error. The prison blamed a clerical mistake. The news called it an unexplained disappearance. But people who lived in the houses he sold knew better. That night, lights turned on in empty rooms. Doors closed on their own. And somewhere in the walls, a man's footsteps echoed, slow, regretful, endless. Not haunting. Paying. Months later, a new law passed quietly. Full disclosure required. Death records mandatory. Severe penalties for concealment. Real estate offices changed their language. Agents spoke more carefully. Silence became expensive. In the city archives, Mr. Kofi's name was removed from the registry. But in the houses, his name was added. A warning passed between neighbors. Ask questions. Listen to walls. And never trust a man who sells homes too fast. Because the truth had finally been listed. Price, everything. Status, sold. And the houses? They were finally occupied.